Hello y'all, welcome to my channel. I'll be a mother trucker and this is Michaela. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you guys eventually out on the road. Okay, this is kind of an introduction video to myself, about myself. And there will be others to come about me before Prime and who I am now. And I want to get a shout out to the lady who got me here, Miss Kirsty from Trucking Along with Kirsty. And I want to say hi to Miss Long Haul Gypsy, No Hippies Trucking, the Million Mile Man, and many other YouTubers out there that I just love and respect. I will get back with y'all and enjoy the video. Hey y'all, we made it here to the Shippers. We're here in Florida, and he told me the town 2 or 3 times. I ain't gonna make him say it again. But we're at Tropicana, and we're picking up here, man. They actually have a real nice little driver's restroom area right over there. It's really clean, really nice. And you know, I appreciate stuff like that. It shows that they take better care of their drivers here at Tropicana. Now, the lady at the gate was kind of a rude, we won't say it, but y'all feel me, okay? Like a female dog. Right? Okay. Anyway, but you know, water off a duck's back. You can't let someone else's bad day affect yours, or you're just going to constantly have bad days. There's a lot of life lesson in that for me. I used to just, one of my employees or one of my kids, anyone was having a bad day, I used to take it on to myself. It was my job to fix everyone, to make everyone happy, to where if they're happy, my happiness depended on their happiness. Yeah, that's a jacked up attitude. That's a jacked up way to live. You got to make yourself happy first. You know, since this world thing that's going on in the world that we're not supposed to mention on YouTube, yeah, they're giving shots for everything nowadays. 2020 was the worst year of my life. So much happened. I gained 60 pounds. Lost my nephew. Lost my 21-year-old Schnauzer, which next to my nephew. My nephew was the worst thing that happened in 2020 in really my life. Beautiful young man, 33 years old. My biggest heartbreak. So lost him, lost my 21-year-old Schnauzer to old age. You know, he was an old boy, but it happened in 2020 amongst everything else going on. Lost my German Shepherd, 7 years old, had cancer. My business, because I couldn't afford to keep on it being shut down during COVID, because we were closed down during the winter. We were open one day and we were closed down because we were a non-essential business. Everyone worked for me out of work. And they were contract laborers, just before y'all, what protection payment thing, whatever, you know, program. I didn't qualify for it because they were contract laborers. I sold it for pennies on the dollar. Pennies. Literally. It was worth 5 times, 10 times as much as I sold it for. So, sold that. Because I sold that, I couldn't afford to keep paying my mortgage. Sold that for barely above what I owed on it. So, when all was said and done, I walked away with $33,000 for 8 years of life. And when it should have been walking away with about $250,000. And then at that, the guy I sold the business to, which, I sold it for less than the equipment was worth. Much less. One piece of my equipment was worth more than I sold the whole business for. he was supposed to give me the rest of the money, and he ripped me off. So I bought a fifth wheel, moved into my mother's backyard. I mean, at least it wasn't in a van down by the river. You know, I bought a fifth wheel with a few slides, remodeled it, bought a 4500 Dodge diesel, and paid for it cash. So I have no debt except for I'm paying on a shipping container I bought because I just didn't want to cut myself short financially. So for months I sat in that fifth wheel crying, feeling sorry for myself, going into a deep depression, and eating. I fed myself to this plump figure. I'll post a picture where you guys see what I look like just before COVID. Hey, this is Michaela Foos with Rosegate Carriage Company. Just wanted to say hi to all my Facebook friends and see my pretty pink carriage back there. And if you look, this is how much I've gained from that. It's unreal. And my co-driver, my TNT instructor, he goes, I don't mean to be mean. He wasn't being mean. He was stating the fact because you've aged 10 years. And I have. I think I've aged more. I think he was being kind. And I started trying to think, what am I going to do? You know, because I had a 4500 pickup, and how am I going to move on from this? You know, I thought I'd haul RVs, you know, because you make really good. There's a lot of money in that industry. But I had a 4500 pickup, and the combined vehicle weight rating with non-CDL drivers is 26,000 pounds. Or if you're 26,100 pounds, you can't. So it would have me pulling teardrops, real small travel trailers. And most of those companies are just not going to mess with you unless you have a CDL. So I thought, okay, I'll just get a CDL. I want to keep my truck. So I start looking around at CDL schools, and then I thought, you know, I have no ties. My kids are grown. I'm divorced. Why not just try truck driving for a year? You know, why not? So I turned around and I go and check out the truck driving school, and I saw, like I said, all these companies on the board that hire. So I thought, you know what, I've always researched when I go into something. I want to know, what are my options? What's my best way forward? Because, I mean, I just spent the past 9-10 months gaining weight and being depressed and having a pity party for myself and boo-hooing every day, and, you know, life was over, blah, 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 blah. So I turn around and I'm checking, like they had Swift, they had, which I knew was a bad company. They had just a bunch of different trucking companies. And CR New England that hired through them, they had a whole bunch of headhunters on the wall that, you know, hire through them. But they hire through every deal, and a lot of them have their own training programs. So I thought, I'm just going to research these companies. And then I thought, why am I paying this school if Swift will pay for me to go? But I wasn't going to go through Swift. CR New England, Warren, a few of them had these where they train you. And Prime kept coming up when I put in, like, a YouTube search. Or I do just a regular Google search. Trucking companies that train me. Because I'm thinking, why spend my money if I can get free training? So I turn around and I run around, and I know I keep mispronouncing it, Trucking Along with Kiersey. And No Hippie Trucking came up. And I think it's Drivers Lineup or something like that. and the Million Mile Man, and a few others just kept popping up, and I was like, and of course, Bearded Fat Man, he was, as I had decided on Prime already, but I kept watching. I watched his videos. He had just gone in, and he was in PDS, I believe, PTS or PDS, you know, where you learn getting your CDL. I really should learn this crap. I just went through it, but I think it's PSD. But he was in that part of his training, the beginning part of your training where you're getting your CDL, and but honestly, trucking along with Kirsty, she was very knowledgeable. She had her crap together. And I always, you guys see the silly side of me, the side that's coping with who I've become. Overweight, where I am now from where I was a year ago, not even quite a year ago. But there's the business side of me who's strictly business. I mean, I was an entertainer at one time. I mean, child, I've done it all. In my life, I've modeled. I know you're looking at me, sure, honey. I have done entertaining. I've danced. You name it, I've done it. I've owned a pet store, grooming shop. I've was a military wife for 16 years. I was a Pinkerton agent. I've done a lot in my lifetime. And then I've never thought I would find myself living in a fifth wheel in my parents' backyard. Never in my life. I've been on my own since I was 15 years old. I never thought that would be my life. So, in my research, I ran across Kirsty, and she had a cute sense of humor, but she was very business-minded. She had worked in the post office before. She just really had her crap together. And she told it like it was. I mean, she didn't sugarcoat things. She just gave you good, solid information, whether you're wanting to come to Prime or go to another company. I just kept coming back, and I kept hearing good things about Prime. And one thing I did notice is with Prime, even people that have been fired from Prime talk good about Prime and how they screwed up. Now, people with CR New England, Warren, all these other companies, I've heard the nightmare stories. Then it comes to Prime, and it really is like a family there. I mean, it really is. The worst people at Prime, and I'm not going to bullshit you, the worst people are the shuttle drivers. There's one or two good ones. The others treat you and talk to you like you are trash. I kid you not. One driver, she would take corners so fast my stuff would fall into the aisleways. She was dangerous, she was rude and disgusting. One guy got out of the shuttle, his seat, some poor kid forgot, he had pulled down his mask to either take a drink or something, I forget what it was, or it slipped down, and the driver was screaming from up there, and I wasn't hearing because we were all talking. He gets out, he storms down the hallway, gets in this man's face. He was a kid, but he was a man, you know, and starts yelling at him and dressing him down in front of everyone. Child, that probably would have been my last day at Prime if he would have done that to me. And, you know, I didn't turn them in, but they really need to put that safety equipment on the bus, and they need to have someone ride every once in a while with these drivers and see how they treat people. Because the reason I say this, everyone else at Prime, from the motel staff to the maids on campus, to the pad trainers, to everyone you deal with, treats you with the utmost respect. They treat you like you are valuable. It's like it's cheesy. It's like you're working with relatives, friends, family, and you just meet them. Prime takes care of Prime. They take care of their own. I knew I needed to be part of this. This could bring me back to getting myself back. And, you know, my trainer, he's only 28. Age of my son. Well, my daughter. He reminds me of one of my sons. I got so lucky with this kid. I mean, and I'm not an ageist. I'm not one that sits there and goes, oh, they're younger than me.
27.
27, good boy. 27 years old. And the thing is I can learn from someone younger than me. I'm not an ageist. I know people, I ain't gonna have no kid. He's an old soul. He's a good guy. I feel lucky. I really do. I feel very lucky to have this young man teaching me. And you can tell he cares. He's relaxed. He's not intimidating. When you're learning something new, if you are intimidating to a person, it's hard to learn. When you have someone that's non-intimidating, takes things as they go, and will listen to if something's bothering you or you need help with something, he doesn't go, really? He's like, okay. But you know, a lot of people at Prime are like that. I mean, everyone I run across, except for, like I said, the shuttle people, they need to fire them all, as far as I'm concerned, and start over. Because those are some of the first people you deal with in a day-to-day deal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because you need them to go to Walmart. You need them to go to the airport. You need them to go to campus. And they're just downright nasty and rude, and they talk to you like you're beneath them and like you're trash. Well, I hate to tell their minimum ass wage earning selves that are driving a shuttle. I mean, of course, I'm sure Rob Lowe pays them good, but they're not above me. They're not better than me. If it weren't for me and people like me, they wouldn't have a job. These are the support staff that are there for us. Just like we have no right to be any disrespect for them. We're not better than them. You know, and I knew if Rob Lowe knew how they treat his people coming into the company, they would be gone. And the only reason I didn't complain to Prime itself is I knew they would lose their jobs. You know, because I could have just filmed him right up with my phone, and he would have been dumbfounded. I almost turned him into safety after he dressed down that child like that young man like that. That was disgusting, rude, and uncalled for. But anyway, so I got to Prime. Everyone was so welcome, and I was in knots. Let me tell you, I was so nervous when I first got into Prime. I was like, it was like all my eggs were in this basket, and I knew I had to make this work. I'd heard so much great things. I had reached out to Kirsty. She always would reply to me. Just sweetest lady ever. And I mean, she's one of those, whether you use her code or whose code, which is what you use when you come to Prime, a referral code, she would sit there and she would reach out to you. You know, if you had a question about Prime, or if you're in PSD training. Is it PSD or PDS? PSD, isn't it? Carrie.
What?
It's PSD training?
Yeah, PSD is a permanent student driver.
Okay. PSD is a permitted student driver. So, yes. You know, it didn't matter what phase you're in. And even when I'm in TNT, she comments on my videos, and she follows your progress. She wants to see you succeed. Everyone at Prime, they want to see you succeed, down to your examiners. And that's another great thing. When I was taking my driver's permit, okay, for my original driver's license, and I was taking my driving test, they would do this shit like they're trying to trick you. And they were. You know, and they would nab you on some silly shit. It is not like that in taking your CDL permit. I mean, these people, you could tell they're sincere. They're honest, and these examiners want to see you pass. Now, if you don't get it right, you're going to fail. You know, they're not going to give it to you. But they're not trying to trick you. They want to see you succeed. And my examiner right off put me at ease. Just a good demeanor, very calm, very nice, introduced himself, and I was at ease. And from what I've heard from other people that have taken the test, whether they failed or not, their examiner was the same way. And usually if you fail, it's because you didn't study, or you just missed something because you tripped yourself up because you were nervous. Nothing big. I mean, I trifected. I was very lucky. My girl that's going to be my co-partner, she would have trifected, except for she timed out on her backing, and she aced it the next time. But a lot of people in my group did not trifecta. And it doesn't make me better or them worse. It just, you know, but all of them and all of us, we had nothing but good praise to say about our examiners. So, you know, it's just, and there's people from every walk of life at Prime. That's another thing I really like. Now, if you're a bigot or a jerk, you cannot work at Prime. You just can't. You won't survive. If you're an ageist, a sexist, you don't support the LGBT community, and you don't even got to support them, you just can't be an asshole to them. You got to show them the same respect. Rob Lowe he has Muslims working there, he has Mexican Americans working there, he has Asian, he has Buddhists, he has trans people, gay people, lesbian people, queer people, you name it, white people, anyone and everyone. And nobody, it's like this, it's weird because everybody treats everybody with respect. No one judges no one. I mean, he has put such a good atmosphere for people there. Doesn't matter if you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent. Like, I'm an independent, and my co-driver is is kind of an independent himself. I mean, we're both actually Republicans, I do believe. But, you know, some of our beliefs are pretty well lined up, and some are slightly different. But we don't judge each other. That is the beauty of it. I mean, with the way the election going on, all that, everyone got nuts. And you go to Prime, it's this place that, it's like a safe area. Everyone's kind and respects everyone. And I know that sounds cheesy, but it's true. It's a beautiful atmosphere. And you're out on the road, you see another Prime truck, Prime driver. I guarantee you, if I had trouble with something and another Prime driver was there, they would have my back. And I would theirs. And you don't see that in a lot of companies. Anyway, I know I've ranted. I know I've hit on the soapbox here and all this stuff. So, I'm going to end up making this a video on its own. So I'll do a prequel to it, and I'm going to end this here. Anyone who wants to hear more about my life before Prime, hit me up. If you want me to make videos about it, I'm an open book. I have no shame in my game. Yes, I was a dancer. That was in there. I said it. That back when. I owned a horse and carriage company just before this. I was, like I said, a military wife. Owned a pet store, grooming shop, showed horses, showed dogs, modeled. I did a lot. It was Pinkerton until Securitas bought them out. That was when I was living in North Pole, Alaska. I have 3 kids, 3 grandkids. It's kind of who I am. But you know, like I said, my motto's always been, and this one thing I like about Prime, preach love, understanding, acceptance of others, and show kindness and love. It's a lot easier than spreading hatred, bigotry, and having a lack of understanding for other people. So, stay lovely, peace, and take care.